always try to show it's a nice-ish day. It's not a brilliant day, but it'll do me just fine. For Christmas, this is fine. Now, beautiful Janice, is Valentine the real surname? It's a beautiful name, or?
It's a real surname.
That's amazing. Holy moly!
We're famous in Greystones.
How did that work when you were growing up? I'm sure as a girl having the Valentine surname must have been at times a kind of a bit of fun for your friends. No?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Great name. No, I thought that was fantastic.
It's been so long ago.
Well, we should say it's been a big circle from St. David's back to Greystones 2 years ago, setting up Great Life Distillery. Would you have always had, do you think, an inkling that this is the area that you wanted to work in, or was it something that came to you later on? Or?
Later on. I kind of knew, I always had an idea that I'd love to set up something, work for myself, but it was very, very vague. You know?
Right.
I think it took me a long time to kind of realize where exactly, because I've traveled quite a bit.
Right.
For me, it's always this notion, my family are what grounds me, what roots me. And I think you get to a certain stage in your life and your priorities shift, and adventure means something different.
Okay.
It used to mean, going out all the time, traveling a lot. My family were always important to me, but you know, as you grow up, and I have a niece and a nephew now, and things happen in your life as well. You know, you go through things, and your perspective shifts, and you're drawn back to maybe where you're from, but also where the love is. You know, that sounds very romantic, but where your family is, and also this sense of kind of place and community has definitely grown in importance for me over the past, I guess, 5 years, as I've really grown as a person as well, and realised, you know what, life's short, what's important and what we want.
Yeah.
And
And would you say there was a pivotal moment? I know you went to Kingstown College, you got your BA in, and we'll have to get the title right now. It's an advanced diploma, I should say, in executive and life coaching.
Yeah.
Was that the turning point, or had you already made up your mind, obviously, to take that course in the first place?
I think I learned so much in that course, but I had read a lot. I mean, I went through a difficult period in my life when my brother passed away. It was actually 8 years ago, and it was kind of like a life implosion, because then another event happened, a breakup of a cohabiting relationship. I was in London, so all this stuff happened around the same time, and obviously I was very upset, and I suppose living away from home, I didn't have the support of my family, so I had to, I guess, learn how to support myself, and I started reading a lot around psychology, a lot around how do we manage, for example, a lot around grief, how do we get through these traumatic moments. And it was at that point that I realised that I actually have power. I actually have power to control how I'm feeling, to get through these things. And then in a few years after that, I wanted to use that power to help other people.
Right.
And I think that was the pivotal moment. And then I was thinking, do I do psychotherapy or psychology? And for me, I'm very forward-looking. As I say, I'm always up for an adventure and excitement, and there has to be an element of playfulness about what I do. An element of let's get through this. Let's take action. Let's take action in our lives to make things better. And I started to do that. Became a coach and set up a social innovation event, which tackled exclusion. So I guess I used my brother's experience of being excluded from having a disability. And that's been running now for 4 years.
That's Hacks Access and Google,
Hack Access Dublin. And I became very, very conscious of the power of community to make things happen, and the power of community to make everyone's lives better. And so that led to me setting up, wanting to launch a business that was really, really immersed in the community. And so I'm very excited. Very excited about next year.
Well, we should say that in January now, on the 17th, you have rocketed into 2019, which I don't think is Richard Branson or Elon Musk related, but but that idea to
harnessing their energy and their optimism.
Good, there you go, and maybe a few other millions would be nice too. But but that idea of sort of, you know, we all have it within us to basically be more positive and get better results out of you know what is. Kind of, we're blessed that we have so much choice, and we can choose a huge amount of how our life is, and certainly ultimately we can always control how we react and deal, and
Exactly.
So for those uninitiated, I mean the night itself, what would you say is the sort of crux of the night? Is it really just advice on that front? I don't know if you've sort of
It's not
certain.
really advice. It's more kind of introducing people to a kind of an approach to life, really, and to goal setting. So really looking at the value of dreams and goals, what they can allow us, how they can allow us to focus our attention on what we can do, as opposed to dwelling on what we can't. And I think winter is a difficult time for a lot of people. We kind of feel like hibernating. We feel like, oh my God, we have to commute. Oh, there's a lot of
And Christmas puts a pressure too as well on
that
people.
we have to get through. So we might be feeling a bit low energy, but at the same time, Christmas is a time to reflect. New Year's is a time when people think, right, this year I'm going to do this, whether or not it's get fit, whether or not it's maybe spend more time with the family, plan a holiday of a lifetime, anything. But those goals can get lost as we progress further into our day-to-day lives. So I would really talk about, well, how can we set goals how can we approach goals in a way that will help us succeed in realizing them? But also, telling stories, my own journey, but also there's a few stories that I'll tell of other people's journey, figures that we all know, and really looking at goals and looking at the reality behind them, and how can we actually approach our goals and our life in a way that actually supports us achieve them, as opposed to setting these goals, and then losing touch with them, losing sight of them as we get further and further into our day-to-day lives. So a bit of inspiration, very uplifting, inspiring, and looking at some research in a very engaging kind of way, like looking at figures from well-being monitors around the world. There's certain countries around the world who are doing very, very well. So looking at these countries and going, what is it about them? What can we learn from these countries? How can we apply them to our own lives here in Great Life?
Is it dangerous to ask where Ireland fits in on that index? Because
middle of the way down.
Okay.
Middle of the way down. We're about 13th, I think.
Okay. Have we slipped down, or have we? I don't know how we're doing lately.
You know what? Right. I'll have that answer for you.
Yeah, indeed. But that idea too, that there is so much kind of, I don't know, like in the last few years especially, it's become a part of society that social media and generally the internet creates a certain kind of anxiety in people and a certain
pressure on everyone.
Right.
And we can't help because we are social creatures, we're designed to kind of want to align ourselves with other people, and of course social media presents very, very only the positive stuff. So we see other people's lives and we think, then we can't help comparing ourselves.
Yeah.
And that can put us under pressure. But I think that is especially applies especially to young people. And I don't know how I would have fared with social media when I was a 15-year-old.
Sure.
I think that would have put a lot of pressure on us. And as well, it puts pressure on young people to maybe be a bit more self-absorbed. You're thinking about your appearance so much, and everything's done for the sake of showing off, as opposed to really valuing what's on the inside and what's really important. So,
I'm a very deep person, as you can probably tell already, and I have sort of, I do feel that what started out the great kind of social media experiment of this great big conversation that we can all have has turned into a competition. It's the conversation part of it is sort of faded, and it's more of a competition, and that goes right down to just generally, people posting what they're doing today, and it's sort of a like me in every situation. Rarely it's just genuinely this is good news to share. It's about the kind of reflected glory, hopefully, from it, and that does breed. Obviously, none of it's intentionally harmful, but it does.
It kind of focuses, but the ego is shining a spotlight on the ego, and of course, when we allow our ego to go off unabated.
So we should try and shut the internet down. Maybe it would be.
No. I mean, it's still in its relative infancy in terms of social media. So I think people just need to be aware and just need to challenge how things are done right now. Ask questions.
Sure.
That's something we'll be talking about a lot. This notion of challenging things, not accepting things the way they are.
Right.
And
I think there will be a generation will grow up and it'll be their life lesson really as to how they manage to manage their own particular image and how much of it they realise in hindsight was wrong and how much of it was
really focusing on what is the impact of this and seeing social media as a tool to kind of bring people together, maybe do good in the community. That's really what is important to me.
Now we should say, as I said, it's on 17th of January. It's in the Whale Theatre. You've had a huge success with the 4 years in Google with Hacks Access. You've also had Startup Salon also in Google. I mean, I don't know if it's given the nature of what you do. Are you generally positive about the world? Do you find that, many people would have anxiety about Trump? They'd have anxiety about the fact that the chaos is.
That's why I think for me, I would be a very positive leaning person. However, I'm also very sensitive.
Right.
So that's actually one of the reasons why I'm doing this work, because I realise that I have to empower myself to actually deal with and cope with all this negative stimuli that's surrounding us. And and it's worked well for me. So I want to share, I guess, my story really, not as a prescription for people, but just as a way to kind of inspire people, and that actually we do have control over our feelings and our emotions and our happiness levels.
I should just say now, I will be there on the 17th. I have a bald patch. Is there any way you can you help with? Can you cure baldness as well?
See, it's not about curing. It's about reframing that bald patch and viewing it in a different way.
A wig. You're telling me you get a wig. Is that it?
I'm not telling you to do anything.